Hey guys, we made it to season 5 of the Us People podcast. I'm your host Savia Rocks, and in this season we aim to empower and embrace creativity through diversity as we dive into the fascinating stories and experiences of a diverse range of individuals, highlighting their unique perspectives and creative endeavors. From artists and entrepreneurs to innovators and activists, we celebrate the power of diversity in driving creativity and fostering positive change. Join us as we engage in thought-provoking conversations like
I made myself intentionally homeless in pursuit of my purpose.
We're aware that a lot of people want to present and they were in my position, and what's worse, they weren't a white male, which is a joke that's even still a thing.
I think my family never ever say you can't do something, so full of support for whatever dream. If I said tomorrow I want to fly to the moon, they'll probably say I wish you all the best, Mel.
So guys, I just want to say thank you for supporting the Us People podcast for the past 5 years, and we look forward to sharing another new theme song with you. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Bald Chef Nick, and I'm a dyslexic chef from Brighton, and I'm delighted to be on the Us People podcast with the talented Savia Rocks.
I had to overcome a lot of obstacles just to get here.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Us People podcast. I'm your host Savia Rocks, and today I am humbled to have Nick here with me. Nick is a chef, but his name is actually Bald Chef Nick. Nick, I want to thank you so much for taking your time to come on the Us People podcast. He's smiling at me. He has this grin. I absolutely love it. Nick, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Savia. It's a pleasure to be here, and pleasure to do this with you.
Most definitely. So, Nick, my first question for you is, could you tell me where you grew up and how that influenced you to be the person who you are today?
I grew up in Croydon. It was Streatham before that, so I was Streatham up until the age of 12, and then Croydon. We moved to Croydon. Not sure that influenced me terribly. It was a great place to live and an enjoyable time. And the name Bald Chef Nick, much further on from those times, came about when my children asked me and said, why haven't you joined Instagram and put all your food on Instagram? And at that point, I wasn't a professional chef and thought, well, okay, I've heard a bit about Instagram, I'll do that. So they came up with a lot of names, and you can imagine.
I want to hear some.
If I remember any of the other ones, but I can only say that they came up with 3 4-letter words, none of the ones you're thinking about.
Oh, no. Wow.
And those were Bald Chef Nick. So I decided as time went by and I became a professional chef to use Bald Chef Nick as my limited company and also my cooking. So Bald Chef Nick is used on everything, and I go along to people, whether it's a collaboration or an event, and I'm doing some private chefing as Bald Chef Nick.
See, this is what I love. So one of the questions that I'd love to ask my guests to learn even more about them is, can you define yourself as a person, but also who do you see when you look in the mirror? But on the flip side of that question, has there ever been a time where you have looked in the mirror and not recognized the person staring back at you? How did you manage to go from a person that you didn't feel had purpose to the person that you wanted to become?
Good question, and a very detailed question. So I'll try and answer all those points, but let me know if I don't. As a child, I was painfully shy. Being dyslexic, I was separated, I suppose, from the rest of the class. In other words, put to the back of the class, and in those days, not many people knew about dyslexia, and many people would just call you stupid and do that. In those days, I always wanted to read a book, and although my parents helped me a great deal, I couldn't read a book. I could read small pockets of sentences, and still to this day, it's the same thing. So I've really sort of grown up and not really believed too much in myself because of those things, then as you become a teenager, life changes for you a little bit and your thinking changes a bit. And I realised that there were some things that I was good at and some things that I wasn't good at. But I had to concentrate on the things that I was good at and try to use my dyslexia for its positive and different sides and just deal with things from that aspect. So I went into property. I didn't have a choice in those days. I left school before I took my exams, and I went straight into a estate agency, and I had a good career. Then I worked in a family property business for up until I was around 57 years old.
Wow.
Now, I've always had a passion for cooking, and I've always loved cooking. But back in the days when I left school, I didn't realise that I could get any sort of qualification, and because of my schooling, just wrote it off straight away. So didn't consider becoming a chef. But my whole life, that's something I've wanted to do. And I haven't had the opportunity, whether financially or time-wise, to be able to do that. When I got to my mid to late 50s, I got that opportunity and so seized it and wanted to be a chef. That's something I've always wanted to do, and I just absolutely love cooking. You could say, in fact, it's in my book, I'm addicted to cooking.
It's not a bad thing to be addicted to cooking. Absolutely not at all. Tom, talk to me about some of your inspirations, because we all have people who inspire us in our lives. And sometimes it's at a turning point in our life where there is something or someone who inspires us. Who are some of the people who inspire you to say, yep, I'm going to do what I love doing in my life and cook and feed people and see that happiness within them?
Happiness when you're giving someone food is definitely one of the main driving forces as a chef, I think, for any cook, in fact. But when I was growing up, we had the start of television cookery, and Keith Floyd, dare I say her name, Fanny Craddock, and also the Roux brothers were inspirations. They were funny, they were great, and when Savia stops laughing...
I'm sorry, anybody says Fanny to me, it's just a thing.
Me too. Anyway, that's why I mentioned her. Anyway, so my also family, cooking from family members, my mum, my grandparents, traditional food that's come from a long time ago, but tastes fantastic in its simplicity, is wonderful. And I firmly believe that it's one of the best ways to not only remember people, but feel people with you that have passed. For example, my mum made a fabulous food, oxtail, cheesecake, and when I recreate her dishes, I feel very much like I'm with her in a physical way. And that's a wonderful thing. And I think it's a wonderful thing for everybody.
I love that. So when I was reading your bio, you said that you described Brighton as heaven on earth. And I think that's beautiful. What are some of your favourite local spots or dishes that inspire your cooking?
Well, my nana, my dad's mother, created a traditional dish of chopped liver on a plate where she would spread it very thinly and crumble some egg over the top. As kids, we loved it. As adults, we loved it. It was absolutely delicious. She passed away, obviously, now, because otherwise she'd be probably 200 years old. But I've recreated her dish in a more modern way, and I call it the Pate 99.
I like that.
And being by the seaside, what I've done is I've got a mini cornet, filled it with some fried onions, then you take the chopped liver, creating a nice ball, and you roll it in egg, and you pop that on top of the cornet with a little breadstick stuck in it, just like a flake would be on an ice cream. And so they look like mini ice creams, but they're actually a savoury canapé.
Oh, that sounds I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Okay, let's talk about your book, Deliciously Dyslexic, right? And it just rolls off the tongue naturally. Some people might find it hard, but what inspired you to write your book, first of all? And what was the hardest part? This is a question that I personally have. What was the hardest part of actually writing your book?
The thing that made me decide to write a book was really that I was at college studying to qualify as a chef, and some of the things that I've learnt over the last 50 years are very helpful to me when I'm studying. It was quite a horrific feeling going back to school, because I didn't enjoy school at all, apart from my contemporaries. I had fun with them, and discovering girls when I went to senior school was great too. But
I discovered them too.
Respect.
Easy.
I decided to write a book because I was using the methods that I'd learnt in my commercial life to teach myself and to help myself and to take myself through my chef's course. And some of those things, well, all of those things I've put into Deliciously Dyslexic to help others, to help them to read it more easily and to be able to go through it and hopefully to enjoy it. It's all broken up into readable sections. I don't have large lumps of text. It's photo rich, text is bigger, and we tint the background so that there's no black lettering on a white background.
Yes, which actually helps.
The hardest part, without a shadow of a doubt, was finishing the edit and going through the book. Now, I say in my book on the very back cover, this is the first book that I've written, but it's actually, because through the writing, the first book I've ever read.
Yeah.
However, if I was to read the book from start to finish, that for me would be a very hard task.
What advice would you give to any chef? So you've come out from the property sector, for example, and you've decided to go on and do something that is best for you, that makes you happy. What would you say to anybody? Because some people believe that when they get to a certain age, it's over. I don't believe that at all. What would your advice be to anyone who wants to become a chef or do something in their life, regardless of their age?
Life's very precious, and it's very important to do the things that you want to do in your life. Not what other people want you to do, but what you want to do. And if you get the opportunity to do it, seize that with both hands. Do everything you can in your life to do the things that you will enjoy doing, because you'll get so much from it, and it matters a great deal. We live day to day in this world, and if you can just take something from every single day that's special to you, then you're a winner, and your life's going to be that much special.
I agree with you. How do you feel about your family, particularly your wife, Debbie? And how do they inspire you when they play a role within your cuisine and adventure within food?
My family do inspire me with food that's been made before and the food they taste. And my wife, Debbie, well, I just couldn't do any of the things I do cooking-wise without her. She encourages me. She believes in me. When I make food, sometimes I don't think it's going to come out correctly, and she thinks it is, and it often is. In fact, most of the times it is. But whenever I have a dip in confidence, she's there to prop me up and tell me that it's all going to be great. And she really is underpinning everything I do, especially with my book.
If I took everything away from you, so for example, if I took everything materialistically away from you, if I took people, food, money, everything away, what is the one thing that you would fight for?
That's a great question. That is a very good question. So I would fight for family.
You know what? I had a feeling that you was going to say that.
That's the most important thing, I think.
I think with family, you create a bond, and with a bond comes everything else, comes love, happiness, regardless.
Yeah. And of course, friendship. But I think friends are often family too.
Yeah.
Good friends.
There's a lot of competition within food and being a chef. What do you believe makes you stand out to people? I know what it is already, but what do you believe makes you stand out as a chef, being yourself and your personality?
I think I look at food in a very celebratory way. It's something very special. We all need food, and some of us just perhaps don't consider it, and some of us consider it a great deal. But what makes me different is I'm not afraid to have a go. I'll try everything food-wise, and I'll make everything that's available. I offer people the opportunity at events to choose whatever food they want, and that's what I'll create for them. And I love to create. So food is a wonderful way to invent, and an invention is a wonderful thing as well. So I use humour. I like to be a little bit different to the general chef and what I wear. I like to call myself Bald Chef Nick because it's got humour in it as well. I want to have fun and enjoyment and just bring all of that to the people that I get involved with through Bald Chef Nick and before that. Entertaining is a wonderful thing, and just to be able to share some special moments through food is perfect for me.
One of the questions I love asking guests is, a lot of the time in our lives we get just judged based upon how we look and what we do even before we've even opened our mouth. So, for example, if I was to take the word judgment out of the dictionary, throw it out the window and say, Nick, this word doesn't exist anymore. In your life, what do you believe you would have done differently?
It's always an interesting question when someone asks you that. But if you change something from the beginning of your life, you'll end up in a different place now. So I really wouldn't change anything I've done. And I can't afford to change anything I've done because I'm now doing the cooking. I'm a chef. I've always wanted to be a chef, and I'm enjoying that challenge. And to be honest, at the age of 60, when a lot of people are looking to perhaps slow down, retire, do different, their outlook on life changes, mine has changed, but in an opposite way. I'm looking for challenges and excitement because I got to be honest, I think that keeps you younger.
Yes, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. So music plays a massive part in everyone's life at some point. But one thing I love about music is when you cook with music. So I've got Nick's wife next to me and she's laughing already. So I want to know, Nick, what is your song of choice when you are boogieing it down in the kitchen? I want to know this.
I might have to ask my wife because I can never remember names, but it's a song by Hot Chocolate, which...
Sexy thing.
No, it wasn't that one. Oh, gosh, I'm not going to sing it, but there's a fabulous song. I can't remember the words.
Okay, we're going to look for the words, guys. Hold on a second.
We're just, because it is just the perfect song. Ironically, I was doing another interview and this song was playing just before I went in, which was absolutely perfect.
Everyone's a winner.
That's it, yeah.
Oh.
Everyone's a winner, baby.
Yeah. Oh, man, don't worry. Actually, the reason why I ask is because on the Us People podcast, what we do is we make a playlist, and every season we have a playlist. So now that song is going to be on our season 5 playlist.
Oh, it's a great song.
Which is going to be pretty cool. So when I'm in the kitchen now and that song comes on, you're the reason why. Nick, what is the best advice you have ever received and how has it helped you in your life?
Wow. That's super interesting. I suppose, I mean, I've had so much advice over the years, and perhaps if I can refer to my book, Deliciously Dyslexic, I would take something from there. We had a wonderful friend called Margaret, and she was in her 80s when she passed away. They thought she'd actually passed away before she did, but she saved herself to go to our wedding, which was a wonderful thing. And then a year or so later, she passed away. But she did say, I mean, she used to come up here for food. Now, at that time, I was not a professional chef or doing any food catering professionally. And she said to me, do something with your cooking. It's a gift. And you'll see at the beginning of my book, not only do I mention her, but I also mention that I believe within every person there's a gift. The real trick is to be able to find that gift and work with that gift. Nobody on this earth is stupid. Everybody can do something special. Whether you want to, is down to you. But find that gift and work with it and do something special with it.
When was the last time that you felt totally at peace with yourself?
That's another good question. I don't feel at peace with myself, but that's just the person that I am. So I've never felt that. But I guess some people do, but I don't know why. But no, there's something inside me that never quite feel at peace with what I am. I'm always looking to get better.
There's nothing wrong with. I think in life, a lot of us as human beings, we look for purpose, and sometimes the most simple of things, like sitting and having this conversation with you, can be someone at peace because you're having a conversation together, and you're naturally just sending energy towards each other, and that for some people is enough. Some people always feel like there's something extra, there's something more to life that resonates with them, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We all find peace, I believe, in different times of our life, and it usually comes at the most unexpected times. I always say that to people. So one of the hardest questions I ask my guests is, if I left you on a desert island for 24 hours and you had to cook a meal, first of all, I want to know what the meal is, naturally, but also I would love to know, if you was on a desert island for 24 hours, what musician would you take? What activist would you take, and what president would you take to cook for?
Ooh.
You've got time. It's fine.
Well, I can tell you the musician straight away. It will be Freddie Mercury.
That's awesome.
I've always wanted to meet him, and he is the only famous person that I would want to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you had a second one there. I can remember the president.
Activist.
Activist. I think if I was going to take an activist, I would, and it is another person I want. I'm sorry, it's a musician.
Fine.
I'll take Bob Marley with me.
Yep, that's fair enough. I've heard him a few times.
I'm thinking about food as well.
Yeah. Yep, keep it on rotation.
And presidents, well, to be honest, unless I was creating, a spit roast and was going to cook one,
I don't know how to take that, Nick.
Well, I seriously wouldn't take one because there's no way that I'm going to be cooking, as far as I'm aware, for any president or prime minister or politician. That's just my view at the present moment in time.
I like it. I like the fact that you have that view. You know what I like? I like the fact that you felt that you didn't have to answer it. A lot of people, and this is the reason why I like asking questions, because nobody is obligated to answer any question. But I like the fact that you were like, excuse my language, fuck it. I'm not I'm not answering the president one, because you feel in your heart possibly that they don't deserve it. And sometimes in life, people don't deserve things, because giving someone your time, giving someone your creativity, giving someone your food is a precious thing.
It's part of me.
It's part of you.
And you're absolutely, and I don't cook for anyone that I don't like.
That's a cancer thing as well. 100%. That is definitely a cancer thing.
It definitely is.
Yeah, it is. If a cancer doesn't like you, and I'm just saying it because, guys, listen, you can't see me right now. I'm going to explain. I am surrounded by 3 cancers, okay? And I am the one Capricorn in the room. I am defeated, naturally. So therefore, they're going to win. I'm not going to win. But cancers, yes, I think you are awesome. Same way. So I love the fact that you answered that. Another question that I have for you is, everyone defines success in a different way. Success is a beautiful word to have, but many people pull it in different phrases in their lives. So I'm going to ask you, Nick. Some people see success as just waking up in the morning. Some people see success as fighting cancer. Some people see success as passing their exams. How do you define success within your life?
Just one word: happy and happiness.
I love that.
If you've got that in your life, you don't need anything else.
There you go. That's enough for me. So if I was to say to you, Nick, after you've done everything that you love doing in your life, and you was like, this is it, Debbie, you said to your wife, Debbie, I'm putting my hands up, I'm done. What would you like your legacy to be? Don't put your hands up like that, but I'm just saying, put your hands up and say you're done, that you've had enough, that you want to relax. What would you like your legacy to be?
So I need to ask you, because my legacy, as in what people think of me, or how they think of me, or what the overall view of what I've done mixed together with what I feel, is that probably...
I like the fact that you even asked me a question back. So I would say you can answer all 3. Start with how you would like people to view you.
I've read a lot, but I've seen a lot and read a little about how your childhood influences you throughout your life.
That's true.
Even before you're born, apparently,
Yeah.
you also get influenced. And I would like to be seen as someone who believed he was stupid from what he was told for a long time, but found ways in which to prove that he wasn't. Unfortunately, it's not great, but I felt that I've had to prove to some people, maybe to myself, that I'm not stupid. So even though I've done some things which I know other people can't do, or look at things differently, it was important to me to get a qualification at the age of 57, 58 years old. And I believe that all dyslexics and anyone that is neurodiverse can most definitely get those qualifications. All they need is help and structure, and shown ways in which to achieve that.
That's enough. That's literally enough. What is something that you would like people to know about you that nobody really does know? I love the fact that Debbie is laughing.
Unfortunately, I think everybody knows I'm a bit of a nutcase.
Would you say it's a nutcase or just unique?
I do want to be original, and I have gone through life trying to be different. When I came to Brighton, it was the only place that kind of like accepted my difference. And I'm not saying it's full of nutters, but it's a special place where everyone's accepted for what they are. Yep. It doesn't really matter. I think that's wonderful. Well, I can bark like a dog. I don't think a lot of people know that, but every now and then, just to have a bit of fun, I go, "Roo, roo, roo." So not a lot of people know that, and why I should say it now in public, I don't know.
Well, you felt free. So
you brought that out.
No,
I blame
see?
you, Savia.
No, I
blame
don't
you.
mind. Anything bad, blame me. I like it. It's good because then I know that it's authentically who you are as a person, and that's how you should always be in life. Just forget it. Just be who you are.
Very interesting when you're in a lift with people. The lift door closes and you bark. The people in the lift think you're a total nutcase, and they just look around looking for a dog.
We're trying to find an exit.
Well, yeah. Some have climbed up for the roof occasionally. Yeah.
It's either that or if you fart. It's one or the other.
Yeah. Well, both. Yeah.
So, Nick, I've literally only got 2 more for you. So, my second to last question is, from your book, when it's out in the world, what would you like people to take from it?
I'd like people to believe in themselves. I'd like people to take something from the cooking, to be able to enjoy my recipes. It doesn't matter if it's one recipe or a tip in a recipe, or enjoy the photos, which are throughout the book, and they're... my photographer, Daisy May, does creative photos for me, and they're very interesting and great fun to look at. I'd like people to get, I suppose mostly, those that don't have any hope, to have just a little bit more hope in what they can achieve, because dyslexics and neurodiverse people, and anybody else, I mean, I'm sure Daisy won't mind me saying that she got over anorexia. Anyone who's got anything different or suffering from something that they can actually achieve so much, even if they can't get over, they can't be healed. They can help their mind and help themselves by doing something special. And as I said before, it's a gift to be different. So try and concentrate on that fact.
This is random, and I know I only said I had 2 more, but it popped in my mind as you were talking, and it's about dyslexia and being neurodiverse and having autism. So a lot of people like to judge these people, and I know people say, well, we say it's a gift. How do you believe that we can cast out the judgment of how people see us and believe in ourselves more, so that we can stay current, at peace, as you say sometimes, or if not at peace, but find the balance between life, who we are, and our gift?
That's another great question. It's really education. Now, I'm not saying there won't be people in a school playground or anywhere else in life that will see a difference, whether it's something you're wearing, or because you may talk in a different way or have a stutter. And those people will always have to overcome a bit of bullying, and that's something we can do because we're strong people. Mm-hmm. But education and educating people is the best way forward, to let people know and for them to see that you are as intelligent, and in some disciplines even more intelligent. You can do things differently and see things differently than a so-called normal person. And I use that word just lightly, because I don't believe we're all normal. Any of us are normal, but we're all different. So we really can do things extremely well. Now, I'm speaking to a charity at the moment called the Helen Arkell Dyslexia charity. Fantastic. When I found them, it was like almost it was a special moment for me, because they started in 1971 when I was only 7 years old. And obviously they've progressed to do all sorts of wonderful things. Not only do they help people with dyslexia and help fund dyslexic tests, so diagnosis for people that can't afford it, but they also teach the teachers, because there is nothing that the teachers get when they are studying to become teachers about dyslexia and neurodiversity and those type of things. And so this trust train teachers how to deal with dyslexics and how to help them overcome the reading, writing, spelling, punctuation, all those sorts of things. And there is a dyslexia that affects numeracy. And if you can do that, then that's how you win. And this charity is very important to me because they run a really fantastic operation.
I love that. So my final question for you, Nick, before I have the honor of saying thank you to you, is I would love everyone to be able to find out where you are on your social medias, if you have any, or anywhere that you feel you would like to connect with people. Where can people find you?
Well, it's dangerous to say I'm all over social media, just as a chef, though. And I always keep my clothes on.
I was about to sing that hot chocolate song.
Oh, no. And my wife in the background is going, thank God for that. But you can find me. I have a website, www.baldchefnick.co.uk. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and you can also find me on Google with Google reviews. And sometimes if you just put in Bald Chef Nick, I'll turn up somewhere along the line doing something and wearing something strange. I'm also, yes, my lovely wife, who, as I said, helps me out tremendously, has just pointed out I'm also on LinkedIn.
There you go.
Which is how we found
met
each other, Savia.
Yep.
And I'm very grateful for that
because
you're a fantastic interviewer.
Thank you so much. And Nick, this is where I say thank you. Thank you, Debbie. You can't see Debbie, guys, but she's right next to me. And I want to thank you for coming on the show, being a guest, for telling your story in your way, answering the questions how you want to answer them, but most of all showing your emotions of who you are as a person, but being humble as well and loving what you do and showing people in life that there's so many different directions that we can go into. So thank you for coming on the Us People podcast.
Thank you very much, Savia. I've had a good time, really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. And guys, I want to thank you for listening to the Us People podcast. And please remember, you can leave us a review on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and any other platform that you prefer listening to. You can also donate to the Us People podcast by simply going to the Savia Rocks website, or the Us People podcast website by simply going to the Us People podcast website and clicking on community. Guys, this is where I say thank you so much for listening. Stay happy, stay positive, and as always, please continue to be kind to one another. Take care.
Dyslexic.
Yeah. So she's got autism.
Oh, bloody hell. That's great. Well, I mean, it's great. For me, I love it. You know, I just like meeting people. Yeah, I wasn't sure because I realised you were very intelligent. And I thought, well, maybe you are. I'm serious. Anyway, right, okay. Hi. Forget everything else I've said and just concentrate on this. Hi. I'm delighted to be on the Us People podcast with the talented Savia Rocks.
You never said what you was. Or your name. Fuck it.
Right, hi. Okay, I'm going to do it now. 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Bald Chef Nick, and I'm delighted to be on the Us People podcast with the talented Savia Rocks. Fuck it.
Spread your wings and let the wind glide you high. We're just soaring through this journey, leaving fear far behind. Our hearts are full of courage. You can win if you try. Redirect the yes to you, you'll see the power of yes. If you try.